Hello, my name is Tim Sells. I live and work out of Woodland Hills, California. I'd like to first say that you're not going to see glitz here, so please don't expect it. I'm not an entertainer nor an actor. I've created this video as a tool designed to educate people about a business concept that works for people who are willing to put 100% of themselves into something. See, it takes 200% to be successful in business. 100% must come from you. 100% must come from the business vehicle that you've chosen. Business vehicle meaning how you earn your living, how you support your family. I've seen people who relentlessly pour 100% of themselves into a business vehicle, profession, or job, but that vehicle doesn't have the capability to give back 100%. The mechanics of wealth are just not there. But no one has ever fully explained to you why it doesn't work and why it's a waste of your valuable time if your goal is financial success. This video is for the person who is willing to put in their 100%. They're only lacking the right business vehicle, the explanation of why it's right, and the evidence that it does in fact work. Even though I say you must put in 100%, that doesn't mean that you have to work it full time. I didn't. That doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice your family time, nor does it mean you have to have prior experience. I didn't. What I'll be talking about over the next hour is a real business, one where a real product or service gets moved to an inline consumer and a solid company gets built. What you'll learn right here has allowed me and an associate to build a $25 million company. Now, a $25 million company has certainly been done before. However, this was done where no employees were required. No accounts receivable, no accounts payable, no overhead, and very little inventory. Recently, I said those words to a business owner who said back to me, "Sounds too good to be true." My response back to him was that a good enough reason to stop looking? He paused for a couple of seconds, and then he said, "That wouldn't be very smart, would it?" What I suggest you do is not just watch this information, but study it. What I want to do first is create an equal playing field between people who know how to evaluate a business and those who don't. Because me explaining this business wouldn't be very effective until you understand how to place value to a business. The simplest thing for someone to do when they don't understand something is to go, doesn't work. The way I'll accomplish this equal playing field is to give you 4 main principles to look for in a business. Number 1 is a huge expanding market. If you were the best vinyl record producer in the world, would it matter today? No. It doesn't matter how good you are in an industry that's eroding. Number 2 is a unique and consumable product. I'll cover unique first. If you don't have a unique product, then you compete on price and convenience. Who has the best price? Who's closest to the customer? Yet if you have uniqueness, then people must come to you. Next is consumable. If you have a non-consumable product, you're basically unemployed until your next sell. You want the repeat sales of consumable products. Whether it's every time someone picks up the telephone, connects to the internet, renews a membership, turns on electricity, or gets to the bottom of a box or a bottle, you want those repeating commissions because it can pay you again and again. Number 3 is timing. Primarily here I'm talking about trends in timing. During all cycles of the economy, there are people who are making money and losing money. The makers are the ones in front of large trends. The losers disregard trends. How do you get in front of large trends? You study what creates them. Without any hesitation, in today's society, it's the baby boom generation that creates the largest trends. The baby boomers are a group of babies born between 1946 and 1964. There were 76 million of them born in the United States, 1 billion of them worldwide. Why is this group so talked about? They're 1/3 of the U.S. population and control 65% of all the money. So what are the next trends? Health, looking younger, education, retirement, security, and money. Those are some of the big trends. So if you want to be brilliantly compensated, you must focus on industries and companies that have positioned themselves in front of these trends. Number 4 is leverage. I'm going to spend some time on this one. We're not really taught this in our society. We're taught to go get a good education, build a resume, and exchange our expertise for someone's dollars. The problem with that is if we're not exchanging our expertise, we're not making any dollars. So vacation time is costly. A walk around the golf course, costly. Family time, although extremely important, is costly. I'll define the word leverage as an increased means by which to attain something. One form of leverage is investing $5 million and earning 10% interest, which will yield you about 41 grand a month in income. So whether you're enjoying family time or playing golf or vacationing, you're still enjoying 41 grand a month in income. You're leveraging off your money. That's a leverage everyone would love, but very few have it. Let me explain another kind of leverage that's available to everyone, including yourself. Incidentally, if you get nothing out of this videotape than a better understanding of this little simple concept I'm going to explain, you'll have gained something very valuable from viewing it. Imagine, if you will, that you own a company. You employ just one person, me. I work for 8 hours on Monday. You work for the same 8 hours on Monday that I do. Now listen closely. You get paid on 16 hours worth of work because you take a portion of my productivity as income back to yourself. You're leveraging off my efforts because I'm your employee. So theoretically, the more employees you have working for you, the more leverage you have. However, have you ever had employees? If you have, you know that in theory, hiring employees sounds great, but it's very difficult to reach leverage through employees. I've heard it said that if you have one employee, you have one headache. If you have 100 employees, you run an adult daycare center. And the reason being is this: no employee will ever work as hard for your company as you will, because they don't own it. As soon as the boss walks out of the office, it's throw the feet up on the countertop, make long-distance phone calls. When the employee goes to the supply cabinet, they don't grab just one pen, they grab a handful of pens and post-it notes and paper clips and rubber bands, right? I'm sure you've never done anything like this, but many people do. Here's my rule of thumb for reaching true leverage. If there's one sentence that epitomizes the entire video, it would be this: to have true leverage, you must create a situation where everyone has the same amount to gain. Only then do you have true leverage. Let me give you an example of this type of leverage. Let's say that I'm a real estate broker and I hire an agent named Robert. Robert goes out and sells a building. Robert earns a percentage of the selling price of the building, and so do I, the broker. Why do I, the broker, earn a percentage when it was Robert who sold the building? Well, I did some of the advertising. I trained Robert. I had the initiative to go get my broker's license in the first place. I put up the risk. I did a lot of things. And so it's valid that I, as the broker, earn my money. But Robert doesn't work for me as an employee. He's an independent contractor. He just hangs his real estate license on my wall. My point here is the broker and the agents have the same amount to gain from the sale of the home. It's totally in the agent's interest to earn more money, which is a form of leverage for the broker. Now I'm going to continue with this broker-agent discussion because I'm not quite done. But I just wanted to stop for a second and let you know that that completes my 4 principles of evaluating a business. Let me recap them. Number 1 is a huge expanding market. Number 2 is a unique consumable product. Number 3 is timing. And number 4 is leverage. If you understood those 4 items, not only do you now know how to place value to a business, but you also have a better conceptual understanding of business than most people do. Let's continue this discussion concerning leverage because it's an extremely important one, as you'll see. There is a flaw in this leverage situation that I've shown you, and it's this. The broker can have multiple agents, but the agents cannot. The broker has leverage. The agents don't. Until the agents do what most brokers dread. What happens when I, the broker, have been real effective at teaching Robert to be a good agent? What's Robert going to want to do in a couple of years? Be his own broker, right? Is this good for me, the broker? No, because as soon as he becomes a broker, 2 bad things happen to me. Number 1, he breaks away from me and I lose him as an income source. And 2, worse than that, he's now my competitor that I trained. He knows all my good stuff. By the way, this doesn't just happen in the real estate industry. It happens in practically every industry. Have you ever heard the expression, I'm just going to work there for experience? What does that mean? It means I'm going to strip them of their knowledge and then go do it myself. If you're a business owner, how many people have you trained who are no longer working for you? How many people have you trained to be your competitors? Well, this gets worse. Let's say that Robert is now a broker right down the street. What will he do now that he's a broker? He'll go out and hire his own agents. And let's say one of those agents is Linda. Linda also eventually wants to be a broker. So she becomes a competitor to me that I indirectly trained, as well as Robert, who I directly trained. And this continues on and on. I actually created a chain of competitors that I trained. What if we did a whole paradigm shift? Here's where this becomes brilliant. Let's say instead I'm going to empower Robert to become a broker. I want him to become a broker from day one. See, the only way that you or I can retain a leader is provide him or her with the same opportunity for growth that we have. Hence, an opportunity where everyone has the same amount to gain. So from day one, I'm going to encourage Robert to be a broker. And when he does, he doesn't break away from me and become my competitor. He shifts from agent to broker, which now allows him to sponsor his own agents. Now, to create an incentive for me, the broker, to always help Robert and his agents, I'm still going to earn a percentage of what he and his agents sell. And shouldn't I? I trained him. I put up the risk and all those reasons I mentioned earlier. Now, the percentage I earn from Robert and his organization should be a lot smaller than when he was an agent, but I should still earn a percentage. That's my incentive to keep working with them. Now, some people look at this and say, gosh, isn't that one of those pyramids? And what's the perception of a pyramid? People at the top make all the money and the people down below do all the work, right? Isn't that the perception of a pyramid? Let me explain why this is not a pyramid and why people at the top don't necessarily make all the money. Let me just make a quick point before I discuss the pyramid issue. It's not the geometric shape that people have a problem with. This geometric shape is probably the shape of your family tree, the shape of our government. To the architect, it's the strongest structure known to man. Every organizational structure in the world is this shape. So the shape isn't the problem. However, that perception, people at the top earn all the money, let me illustrate that for you. Here's a typical corporation. At the top, you have a CEO, which stands for Chief Executive Officer. Does the president earn more money than the CEO? Not normally. How about below the president? Do any of the vice presidents earn more money than the president? No. Let me ask this question, and I want you to really think about it. What would happen if some of the vice presidents of a corporation made more money than the president? Really, what would happen? Talk about total confusion. This whole process is called delegation. Each level of the corporation earns less income. The reason the president can tell the vice president what to do is because they make more money. The reason a middle manager can tell the staff and employees what to do is because they make more money. So the corporate structure is people at the top making the majority of the money, and the people at the bottom do not. The CEO of any corporation earns off the productivity of, or is leveraged off of, everyone in his or her corporation. Whether that CEO personally hired every employee or someone else in the company hires them. So the CEO, and only the CEO, earns on multiple levels of his or her company. And the model that I'm suggesting as being brilliant is where you, the individual, are given that same opportunity to earn on multiple levels of brokers and agents. In network marketing, you, the individual, are given the opportunity to earn off the productivity of the people in your organization, whether you personally sponsor them or someone in your organization sponsors them. Remember when I said to reach true leverage, you must create a situation where everyone has the same amount to gain? Well, that's what I've just described. Here's what makes the network marketing structure the absolute fairest structure available. In most network marketing companies, everyone can earn a certain number of levels deep of the organization they build. Everyone in the company can earn that same number of levels deep, like maybe 4 levels deep or 6 levels deep. Let's say we use 4 levels. So if you build an organization to be more productive, then you would earn more money than I would, even if you were in my organization. In the example shown, you would earn on 3 levels I couldn't reach, because everyone gets the same number of levels. There are people in my organization right now that earn more money than I do. Do you know what I call that? Fair. Shouldn't it be that way? I mean, take any structure. Shouldn't the most productive person in that structure make the most money? What does a nice resume or years of seniority have to do with productivity? Nothing. If you bring more profits to a company or organization, Don't you deserve more profits than anyone else? You don't normally find a person on the 5th level of a corporation earning more money than anyone else, but in network marketing, it happens all the time. Now, I'd like to show you an interview that I've done with Dr. Charles King, who holds a PhD from Harvard and is a professor of marketing at the University of Illinois at Chicago, who actually teaches network marketing at the university. Dr. King, we're delighted to have you here.
I'm pleased to be here, Tim.
Dr. King, could you tell us a little of your education and your business background?
Tim, I'm a professor of marketing at the University of Illinois at Chicago. I got my bachelor's and master's degrees from the University of Texas in Austin, spent a tour of duty with the Exxon Corporation, and then returned to get my doctorate in business administration from Harvard University. More important to this discussion, over the last 6 years, I've been involved in doing research, teaching, and consulting in network marketing.
So coming from such a conservative school, and I know you a little bit, and I know you to be very conservative, what caused you to look at network marketing to begin with?
In 1990, we had a major economic recession in the United States. The Midwest and Chicago particularly were very badly hit. As a result, the interviewers stopped coming to campus. We were graduating hundreds of students a semester, and they weren't getting jobs. Our alumni were coming back to us, losing their jobs, looking for help, and we had nothing to offer them. Now, I started looking, because of my background in business consulting, at alternative career paths. I went out and I looked at starting your own business, at home-based businesses. I looked at franchising. I looked at direct selling. And in the direct selling arena, I backed into network marketing. Now, I was very cynical, skeptical. Tim, I was negative about network marketing. They don't teach network marketing at the Harvard Business School, and I didn't know much about it. The end result was one of my students who was on the team asked me, "Why are you so negative about network marketing?" I looked at that young man and I said, "Son, I know enough to know I don't want to know any more." That student looked at me and he said, "Professor, if I gave you that answer to that question with no more information than you have, you would give me an F." I turned to him and I said, "Son, you're absolutely right. I have no basis for that conclusion. You just made an A." As a result, we went to the library, we went to meetings, and for the next 6 months, we did due diligence on the network marketing industry. I visited the top companies, I talked to network marketing leaders, I became an evangelist. In 1990-91, we started teaching network marketing in the marketing curriculum at the university.
Wow. Was there any resistance from the dean of the school or the alumni?
As it turned out, our dean at the time was a very entrepreneurial operator. He was looking for outreach programs that we could initiate. I had done my due diligence. We were getting good reviews in terms of student responses. So the dean said, "Maintain your professional profile and let's move forward with network marketing."
What is your view of the industry of network marketing now, and where do you see it going in the future?
Tim, the industry is coming of age. Today, we have computer and management information systems, which makes it possible for a network marketing company to organize a sales force so effectively that we can make a sale in Korea in Korean won, instantaneously convert that Korean won sale into US dollar sale, post that to a distributor's commission account in the United States, and pay that distributor in a week. Never before in the history of this industry has that been possible. So we have gone through a dramatic technological wave in the 1980s, the early 90s. I argue now we're moving into the wave of professionalism, and I emphasize professionalism at several levels. Number one, we are seeing more and more professionals, physicians, dentists, attorneys, CEOs, college professors, going into network marketing. Secondly, we're seeing a completely different attitude on the part of the press. The Wall Street Journal, Forbes, the Chicago Tribune, regional dailies around the United States are giving network marketing very positive press. On the other hand, the universities are accepting network marketing as a legitimate channel of distribution. The University of Illinois Chicago has offered the first certificate seminar in network marketing in the history of the industry. The University of Houston is going to be sponsoring network marketing as part of their outreach entrepreneurial programs. We are seeing more and more community colleges setting up network marketing courses on their campuses. So I see this industry growing dramatically over the next 10 years. It's currently a $20 billion industry in the United States. We have 7 to 10 million distributors in operation. We're expanding globally into Asia, into South America, into Europe. The industry is growing at about 10 to 12% a year, in contrast to 3 or 4% for traditional retail sales. So on my view, the industry is absolutely coming of age.
Suppose you run across the super skeptic. What advice do you have for them?
Tim, I would recommend they do precisely what I did. I was a super skeptic. I did my due diligence, I investigated the industry, and I drew my own conclusions. I strongly recommend that you do your due diligence and then begin to define precisely what role you want to play in the network marketing industry. Set realistic expectations. If there's a single cause for failure in this industry, it's the get-rich-quick syndrome, thinking that you can come into the industry and make enormous sums of money with no work. I argue, by contrast, that if you set realistic expectations, you develop a plan of action to guide your business development, you can be successful.
Now let's move to the big picture. You must be asking the question, how does this little group of products or this service turn into this kind of money? Who's selling all that product? Is this something where I'd be going door to door? Did I get my doctorate degree to go door to door? To answer your question right off, no. We're not going door to door. I've seen owners of some of the most successful advertising companies in the world look in amazement at how what appears to them as a onesie-twosie little business can actually be more effective at penetrating the consumer market than one of their $50 million advertising blitzes. I know of 2 network marketing companies that have reached $1 billion in sales inside of 10 years. Incidentally, to my knowledge, there have been less than 10 companies of any kind to ever do that.
Richard Poe, can you give me a little bit of your background before you became interested in network marketing?
I've had a lot of different jobs with magazines and newspapers. I did some writing for Venture Magazine, senior editor at Success Magazine. Both at Venture Magazine and Success, I was the franchising editor.
How'd you first become aware of network marketing?
Success at that time was on Madison Avenue in Manhattan. I was walking down 42nd Street, and there was a guy standing there at the corner of 42nd and 5th Avenue who was handing out flyers for a network marketing opportunity. So I just took one, not because I was looking for an opportunity, but just because I was always looking for ideas for a good story. I called up the guy. He started pitching his opportunity to me. Next thing I knew, he'd sent me a packet of information, not only about his company, but about the whole industry. And I was just completely enthralled by the whole thing. Here I was, a senior editor of a nationwide business magazine with a circulation of 500,000, and I had never heard of this. It seemed very strange to me that I just didn't know anything about it, and I was really very excited about that. I felt like I'd happened on some kind of a scoop.
What year was that?
That was 1990.
Why did you see network marketing as a great business, if you will, versus a pyramid scheme, which is really what the angle of most reporters were writing on the industry at that time?
Well, I think first and foremost, it was just the magnitude of the thing. I hadn't looked at the industry for more than a few days before I saw that there were some very large, multi-billion-dollar companies involved in it, companies with major name brand recognition, just on the sheer level of the magnitude of this industry, how big it was, how big the companies were. Obviously, these couldn't all be scams. I just looked into it, and I used my judgment. I mean, I was a full-time business reporter and business editor at that time. What I did every day was look at businesses and try to determine whether they were good businesses. And, I had developed instincts for evaluating them, and we had certain guidelines for evaluating them, and network marketing just checked out on every score.
Richard, what really makes the network marketing industry legitimate?
Well, the industry is legitimate by definition. It is completely legal in all 50 states, in many countries. It's an industry that has been looked at for many, many years by government regulatory agencies, and they have concluded that it's a legitimate business. They move product to the consumer, and that's what they're in business to do.
Richard, what makes network marketing an ethical business?
I think network marketing is actually one of the most ethical businesses there is, because ethics are intrinsic in the way the business is set up. It's a business that actually requires you to help other people in order to succeed. It's a situation that just by its very nature forces you to become a leader and to practice good ethics.
Richard, you wrote a very successful book called Wave 3 that outlined the first 3 waves of growth within the network marketing industry. What's your perception of Wave 4?
I'm really excited about the research that I've been doing for Wave 4 and the things I've found out. We have things like Citigroup, the largest financial services company in the world, which has a network marketing subsidiary which it is relying on for a lot of its cash flow. We have DuPont and ConAgra, major transnational corporations, putting out a new network marketing subsidiary. The list just goes on and on. The involvement of Fortune 500 and Fortune 100 companies in network marketing is something that we really have never seen in the history of the industry before. Network marketing has arrived. It has been fully integrated into the economy of the information age, and that's what Wave 4 is all about.
Richard, what can someone lose by involving himself or herself in network marketing?
Well, every business involves risk, and network marketing business requires investment like any other. I think what makes it different from other businesses is how small, relatively, the investment is compared to what you'd have to invest in a franchise or in starting your own unique small business. The risk is just many, many orders of magnitude smaller.
The way I'm going to explain who's selling the product is in the form of gears that drive sales volume. There are 3 of them. The first gear that drives sales volume in network marketing is exploratory volume. Let's suppose that you like what you've seen so far and it makes sense to you. Your next obvious step is to buy some products or use the service. You couldn't promote a business if you didn't understand the products and believe in them, which is the movement of some sales volume. As soon as you purchase some products, that's some volume that just got sold. Let me give you an example of how this volume can add up. A while back, my partner and I had our company's computer generate a list of new people for that month. We had over 2,400 new people come into our business worldwide in that one particular month. Now, if just a few of those new people that came into our business came in trying products, that's a lot of sales volume moving of just people exploring the business. Just a side note, in every business you have the compensation side and the product side. This video has been exclusively about the compensation side. Without a great product, there can be no compensation. And my intentions with this video is to fully explain the compensation so you really understand it. You should get your product information from the person who gave you the video. Okay, that first gear of volume was people exploring the business. And that gear drives the second gear, which is wholesale consumption. When people try products or services and they like them, they want to continue using them. Look at the way wholesale buying clubs work, like Sam's and Costco's. There you pay $40, $50, $60, and you get their products at wholesale. Now think about what kind of volume wholesale consumption is. That's loyal consumer volume. That's people loving products, or people loving the price of products. That kind of volume is solid as sales volume can get. There are about 56,000 people in my organization worldwide. Just for illustration purposes only, let's say they average maybe $5 a month or $20 a month each. 56,000 people times any number is a lot of consumption volume. The third gear that drives sales volume is retail, which most people understand because it's how most everyone does business. Buy low, sell high. Wholesale to retail markup. Well, network marketing has that also. However, that's only one of the 3 kinds of volume. Now, take a step back and look at what I just showed you. You're not just earning on one kind of volume, like retail markup. You can be earning on all 3 volumes with everyone in your organization. Now that I understand this, I could never go back to any other form of distribution. It's all so inefficient compared to this.
This is Dr. Ronald L. Schuler. I'm age 60. 61 years old, and I live in Sedalia, Missouri. And I've been in the dental profession for over 28 years and have currently become board certified in clinical nutrition. I've been involved in network marketing since March the 15th, 1991, and it gave me the opportunity to sell my practice and to do the things I want to do, and that's research and nutrition. The thing that I enjoy about being involved in network marketing, it's given me the time freedom and the financial freedom to do what I want to do.
How were you initially contacted to look at network marketing?
By a fellow classmate.
How'd you feel about your friend contacting you about a business?
I felt very good about it because I knew that it had to be a legitimate concept, having known and gone through school with him, that I believed that he would not come to me with something unless it was legitimate.
Normally, my experience has been doctors don't feel good about recommending products or talking to people about business. How have you overcome that yourself, Dr. Schiller?
Well, the first thing that I had to realize is that this was not only an excellent way and vehicle to get products to the inline consumer, but they had to be quality products. And so, therefore, I felt very comfortable in recommending this concept to my patients.
So it was actually after you do the research yourself on the products, then you felt comfortable at recommending them to patients.
That is correct, because I think it's the product that is the movement for the force behind this concept.
So you didn't have a sales background. What would you say to people who were concerned about not having a sales background going into network marketing?
Well, not having a sales background, everybody must realize that, essentially everyone is a salesman, a professional. When, for example, if a patient needed a surgical procedure, I had to show them why and the reasons for it, and I really had to sell them on the concept of having the surgical procedure. So the same thing applies to good products. I'm not perceived, therefore, as a salesman, but as an educator.
I recognize you may have seen this industry before. Maybe you've even attempted it. Or you know people who have tried it and succeeded or didn't succeed. I remember a guy when I first came into the business saying to me, "I know someone who tried one of those and didn't succeed." He acted as though that should sway me. Of course people fail. People fail at everything. People failed at my high school. The absolute worst thing you could do in your life is compare yourself to people who fail, because you don't know how they approach the business. Did they come in and do it as a profession, or did they come in and do it as a hobby? My point is, you cannot objectively look at someone's success or lack of success as a determining factor of what you'll achieve. This business is just like everything in life. It is what you make of it. However, it does have something extremely unique about it. I was speaking with a gentleman just the other day, and he said to me, "But Tim, the average person can't do what you've done." I asked him, "Yeah, but could the average person have sponsored me?" Visualize this. Let's say there's a very average person named Barry Average, who himself doesn't believe he can build a $25 million company. However, because of his tenacity, he sends this video and some product information to someone who is a business builder named Tom Producer. And Tom Producer builds a $10 million organization within Barry Average's organization. See, you only have to be good enough to sponsor a Tom Producer. Barry Average then learns that if he's tenacious and if he just does that enough times, he'll find another Tom Producer. Then one day, Mr. Average, he's not Barry anymore, he's Mr. Average, wakes up and realizes something. He's a Tom Producer, and he always was. That's why this is the greatest business in the world, because it allows the Barry Averages of the world to realize they are the Tom Producers of the world if they just have tenacity. Hands down, the personal growth rewards exceed the financial rewards by a long shot.
Okay, my name is Beth Henson. I am a great-looking 45-year-old single mother. I am in Summerton, South Carolina. Prior to getting involved in network marketing, I was involved in real estate. I've been involved in network marketing 3.5 years.
How were you initially contacted to look at network marketing?
My 18-year-old son had heard about this opportunity through a doctor in the church. And he came and actually he harassed me for about 3 months and insisted that I go look at a presentation. And I resisted it. I told him I was too busy. I was busy this, I was busy that. He said, "You're busy being broke." When he said that, I knew it. I knew then. Something, that woman's intuition told me, okay, girl, you go look. And it changed my life from then on. I've never been the same. And I'm just disappointed somebody didn't share a network marketing opportunity with me 20 years ago.
So how have you done financially?
The first couple of months I struggled, and then I sponsored actually some professionals who, one in particular, closed a stock brokerage firm. I mean, he absolutely turned on the jets, and within a couple of months of him getting involved, my income went what I consider, out of sight. So my first year, $300,000.
You made $300,000 with your company.
The first 12 months.
That is incredible.
What this also allows is the very busy professional a way to supplement their income and have the opportunity to sponsor or have someone in their organization sponsor a Tom producer, which gives them choices.
My name is Ruby Miller Lyman. I am 65 years old, and I have been in network marketing for 47 years. The thing that I have enjoyed about the network marketing industry compared to the regular industry, and I have had many businesses, Tim, throughout my years, so I know all the ramifications of storefront businesses, and I have found there's a limited amount of money that people can earn in that sort of structure, where when you're in network marketing, it's a level playing field.
What has network marketing allowed you to have or do that you couldn't or didn't before?
It's given me an opportunity to expand my own talents and ability. The biggest thing in the industry it's helped me to do is to help others achieve financial freedom, optimum health, to enjoy their families, and travel the world over, which I have done.
Ruby, I had to wait to interview you because you were overseas building an international business. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's like to build an international business through network marketing?
Yes, I certainly can, Tim. I have been in Thailand now. I think it's 4 times in 8 months. So it's been an exciting time to start from zero that now encompasses, 23,000 people, and I believe there are something like 19 people who have achieved the status of millionaire in Thai in this short period of time. Now, will now be going into other countries within the Pacific Rim area. It's awesome to watch that growth, and when you have leaders with great integrity, honesty, they can help in the building of that international business.
So, Ruby, you've been doing this for 47 years. Pretend for a second you can go back to you're now 18 years old again. What would you do different?
Well, Tim, I wouldn't do a lot different in my network marketing business, but I would have done more of it. At 18, when I first started, to about 25, I had phenomenal success. But then through the success of that, it gave me the dollars to expand into other areas. And as I grew and bought 8 beauty salons and a modeling agency and went through all the trauma of storefront businesses, hiring and firing and so on, I believe I would have sidestepped many of those years and stayed fully concentrated on my professional network marketing business.
The real question is, can you do this and be successful? I don't know you, but I think you can. How'd you get good doing what you do now? You just kept doing it until you got good at it. If when you get started with this, you find something that you don't feel you're good at, change it. Find books on the subject. Find college courses. It's a lot easier to learn a skill than it is to run from that skill and try to find an industry or job that you don't need that skill in. Face what you're not good at and change it. Confront it and beat it.
I'm privileged to have with me on the phone Mr. John Milton Fogg. John's the founder and editor-in-chief of 2 of the largest and most respected industry publications, Upline Journal and Network Marketing Lifestyles magazine. In addition, he's the former contributing editor for the network marketing industry in Success magazine, as well as editing over 20 books about the industry. John, I've nicknamed you the industry's editor and writer. I appreciate you taking the time here.
Thank you very much.
You've been writing about this industry for many years. Tell me, from your perspective, how has the industry changed over the last, say, 10 years?
Well, professionalism is one, and that's attributed to its increased credibility, Tim. I think we're attracting more and more men and women from career positions than we were 10 and a dozen years ago.
Why do you think that is?
Well, part of it is certainly our success. This is a $100 billion industry worldwide. More and more of these men and women are coming into this business as they find their businesses don't work anymore.
Interesting. So what do you think has had the greatest impact on our industry?
Oh, over and above anything else, Tim, technology. This industry is 50 years old, and it could not have grown anywhere near to the size it is today if we didn't have technology, the microchip, microtechnology, computers. And what interests me most, Tim, is that in the wake of that, and I think John Nesbitt said it back in 1982 in Megatrends, high tech, high touch. The more high tech we get, the more high touch we will require. And no matter what technology does, Tim, there are two things it will never, ever replace. One is human creativity, and the other is human intimacy, relationships. And that's network marketing, stock and trade. This is the relationship business.
What do you really love about this industry?
The freedom. Absolutely, more than anything else. I don't know how many people over the last 10, 12 years, Tim, I've interviewed in this business, but it always comes down. These are successful network marketers, and I'm talking people making $100,000 and $200,000 a month. And when it comes down to it, it's the freedom that they have to live their lives the way they want. As a network marketer, you can work from your home, you can work from a hotel, you can sit on a beach in Hawaii and literally do your business.
When I first got started, I was a Navy underwater bomb squad technician and had zero communication skills. I can't see how my friends survived my approach. It was awful. I did the business part-time for about a year and a half, and I had a lot to learn. But I already knew either you have excuses or you have results. You can't have both. I'm going to be blunt if I haven't already. You're already spending valuable time right now getting good at something. Shouldn't it pay you a huge income and give you total time freedom? You're wasting your talent by selling yourself short and working for somebody else's dream. I looked at this industry and said, sure, it's hard. Everything's hard. But it's harder to not have what you want all your life than it is to just get the hard out of the way.
Frank Kiefer, 53. I've been in network marketing for 10 years.
What kind of work did you do previous to network marketing?
I had about 15 or 16 years in corporate America, mostly with Fortune 50 companies. I worked for at least 7 multi-billion-dollar companies. I taught school a little bit, and I spent some time in the military.
How were you initially contacted to look at network marketing?
I happened to be down in Jamaica at what they called the President's Club for one of the major corporations that I worked for, and it was a retreat where the top earners went. And a fellow that approached me and asked me if I'd ever thought about doing anything else. Well, I sat down with him and he showed me the numbers, and it was pure math. And I thought, man, I'd have to be nuts not to do this, because I recognized, even at that time, that there was a couple of keys to wealth building. And it really took me until I was about 40 to learn how to make serious money. And when I'm talking serious money, I'm talking in 7 figures. And I found that the 2 of the keys that was timing and leverage, and I saw the leverage in the numbers right away.
What has network marketing allowed you to have or do that you couldn't or didn't before?
Well, one thing that happened was about 2.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with end-stage heart disease, and I was only given a matter of weeks to live. And I didn't believe that for a second. But the fact of the matter was, I was told by the doctors that I would never work again a day in my life. And I realized that at that point in time, that in spite of the fact that I had achieved financial success in traditional business, I wouldn't have the money to continue in a lifestyle that was anywhere near what I was used to. In fact, I had no real retirement going from any previous employment. So I would be sentenced to live on $12,000 or $13,000 of Social Security a year. Well, I tell you what, I just can't imagine that. So, but my life, as I knew it, would have ceased to exist if I had not built up a residual income.
When you were first exposed to network marketing, would you have classified yourself as being busy?
Oh, my God, yes. I was a workaholic. 60 or 80 hours a week were nothing.
So how'd you find time to do this?
It's almost like I didn't have a choice. the numbers were so good that I thought, I've got to find a way to squeeze this in somehow. And what happened was I ended up doing the business part-time. And I found that by doing it part-time, I wasn't learning as rapidly as I wanted. I didn't have the time to immerse myself. So I made a decision that if I'm going to be serious about this, I've got to go full-time. So I walked away from $250,000 a year. And at that point in time, I made a decision. This is about my life. This isn't about money. I don't care what the money is. And I went home and I just told my wife I've resigned from my job. And I said I'm going to do this thing full time. And if for some bizarre reason it doesn't work, I'll rent beach umbrellas before I go back to that other stuff. There are things that are more important than money. But, you know, I enjoy the cash and everything, but the freedom is unparalleled.
The reason so many people are coming into network marketing is because people want control of their life. They want a quality of life, and network marketing offers that. I hear people all the time complaining that they're too busy or don't have enough time. People act as though time owns them instead of them owning time. What do you mean, not enough time? That's the only fair component in the equation of life. See, not everyone starts with the same intellect. Not everyone starts with the same amount of money, but everyone has the same amount of time in a day. Have you ever noticed that there are people who, with 24 hours, earn $10,000 a year, and there are people in the same 24 hours who earn $10 million a year? Let me explain the difference. I've heard people say this phrase, "It's easier to just do it myself than try to get other people to do it." Whenever I hear that phrase, I know that person just nailed their feet to the floor. All they can do is expend their time, not invest their time. Here's a secret. Wealth is hidden from those who must do it all themselves. Wealth exposes itself to those patient enough to train others. When you understand the power of educating and empowering others so that you get more done, you're truly on your way to wealth. Now, with that understanding of the importance of training others so you get more done, look at network marketing, and you'll see why I call it brilliant compensation. In network marketing, you're actually making yourself unimportant to the creation of your income. Because in network marketing, what you teach and train others to do is duplicate what you do, which is to find and train others. This is actually multiplying you, because you're teaching them to sponsor and train other people. That's why I say, next to your spiritual growth and your family, there is nothing in the world you can do that will reward you better than investing your time in network marketing. Let me illustrate something to you that is so profound. What's the maximum number of hours you could work in a day? 24 hours, right? So if you didn't sleep all day, you could work 24 straight hours. What if you didn't sleep for a whole year? You could actually work 8,760 hours in 1 year. But that's the maximum number of hours you could work in a year. Now, I want you to remember back when I explained to you that I have 56,000 people in my organization worldwide. Well, let's suppose that all 56,000 people work just 1 hour out of a year. 56,000 people times 1 hour each equals 56,000 hours of work that I'm being paid on. Well, for most people to earn on 56,000 hours of work, they'd have to work for over 6 years, 24 hours a day without sleep to put in the same amount of hours that I could in 1 hour a year. Let me throw in something really ridiculous. Suppose all my 56,000 people worked 1 8-hour day in a year. 56,000 people times 8 hours is 448,000 hours I'm being paid on. Well, it would take most people working over 51 years, 24 hours a day, to do what I could do in 8 hours a year. 8 hours in 1 year versus 51 years working 24 hours a day? Doesn't seem fair, does it? It's definitely not fair. What's not fair is that you haven't understood this until today, and other people have. The difference between the wealthy and everyone else is leverage. You've got to understand that. And nothing gives you, the individual, leverage in such an ethical way like network marketing can.
My name is Larry Smith. I'm 46 years old. I work out of Denver, Colorado. I was a former corporate president earning $102,000 a year.
What was your perception of the industry then, and how does it compare with how you feel now?
I basically saw it as a pyramid program because I'd heard a lot about pyramids. I didn't know what they were, but I heard a lot about them. Today, I think it's the only way to make a true difference and a fortune is to add leverage to your income.
If someone has previously been involved with network marketing and now they're looking at it again, perhaps with another company, what advice would you give them?
Very good question, Tim. I was involved in networking 4 times before this one. And, you know, I can look at it and say I failed, or I can look at it and say I gained experience, which allows me to be as successful as I am today. I know that in order to be successful in any career, you have to gain education. Part of your success story is the fact that you've gone through failure to achieve success.
How well have you done financially?
Worked part-time for 3 months. By my 3rd month, I made over $4,000. By my 9th month, I made over $10,000. By my 16th month, I went over $20,000. And last month, I made over $28,000. This year is my 2nd year in the business, and I earned over $223,000 my 2nd year, incidentally, which is over twice what I was earning as a corporate president, and it took me 27 years to get there.
So you were at the top of the pyramid in the other one.
Yes, with no place to go. And no more income to earn.
That's right.
So go get a legal pad of paper, write down what you really want in life, then call the person who gave you this video, tell them whether you're an A, B, or C. C is, see you later, no thanks. That's fine with us, because your relationship with the person who gave this to you is more important to us than anything. Or you're a B. A B is I may be. I want to first explore the product. If that's you, then do that. Don't procrastinate. The #1 killer of financial success is procrastination. People just putting it off until tomorrow, and they've somehow convinced themselves that they'll actually do it tomorrow. You know what I'm talking about. As soon as I'm done with this project, then I'll have more time. Or as soon as little Jimmy gets back in school, then I can. And they never do. Don't let that be you. Get your product today. Or you're an A. And that means absolutely. No, you don't have all your questions answered, but you see enough to start and begin your training. Very well done to you in your ability to make decisions. If it's late at night and you've just watched this, don't be concerned that the person who gave this to you is sleeping right now. They'll be up. If they're not, wake them up. Tell them, hey, now that I understand this thing, I can't sleep. And if I can't sleep, you're not going to sleep. Believe me, they'll appreciate that call. So call that person and tell them whether you're an A, B, or C. That's it. Join us. You'll be glad you did. Now is the right time, the smart time. Thank you for taking the time to view this video. I hope it's been educational to you. What I really hope is that you'll put this information to good use. I look forward to working with you should our paths cross. I'm Tim Sales.